that Orlando was the shooter and Keefe was in on it, that he had full knowledge of what was going down, and it was revenge for Orlando getting beaten up by Tupac and his team at the MGM after the Tyson fight. Is that correct?
No.
Then who shot Tupac?
It wasn't Anderson, so that's all I got to say about that part.
So, Suge Knight has officially joined the chat, y'all, on the recent shocking new development in Tupac's case, and he claims that the police got it all wrong, and that the real culprit is still at large. Well, let's just say, there are a lot of shady new details that are now starting to come out about Diddy's connection to this case, and word on the street is Diddy might be next on the police list. So we all know that Keefe D recently got arrested and has been officially charged, but the police confirmed they don't believe Keefe is the one who took Pac out. Until now, the theory was that Keefe's nephew Orlando Anderson was the one who took out Tupac, while Keefe was in the car with him. However, Suge Knight is now claiming that Orlando is not the shooter, and he also said he will not be testifying against Keefe. As for Keefe, he previously directly accused Diddy of bringing down both him and Suge over Tupac's situation.
And so you feel like Puffy, he's the reason for your empire and Suge empire going down because of the whole situation with Tupac.
Exactly. He the only one still balling. Shit.
Girl, I just know this case is about to get messy and a lot of names are going to be dragged very soon. So what does this all mean for Diddy? Could Keefe D end up implicating Diddy in the trial? And does Suge know something about Diddy that we don't? But is there actually enough evidence to implicate Diddy in Tupac's murder? Well, let me give you some context. The first time Diddy's connection was publicly linked to Tupac's passing was back in 2006, when Biggie Smalls' case was reopened by his mother, Voletta Wallace. Voletta filed a lawsuit against the LAPD, seeking approximately $500 million in damages, citing the widely circulated theory suggesting that the police covered up her son Biggie's death. The case was then reopened and assigned to LAPD detective Greg Kading, who uncovered some shocking revelations during his investigation, and some of these revelations were about Diddy. So the first thing you need to keep in mind is that Detective Kading believes there is a strong connection between the passings of Biggie and Tupac. And while investigating Biggie's demise, he uncovered fresh evidence that linked both cases together. After dedicating 3 years to the investigation, Detective Kading reached the conclusion that Diddy ordered a $1 million hit on the lives of both Tupac and Suge Knight. According to Kading, Diddy wanted to eliminate Pac and Suge due to the publicized feud in the rap world involving himself and Biggie. Kading alleged that Diddy had strong affiliations with gangs in Los Angeles and enlisted the services of Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, a member of the Southside Crips, to execute the contract, which Keefe apparently confirmed to the investigators.
I seen a bullet going Suge head. I thought he was dead.
So Tupac's trying to jump in the back seat. And what Suge doing? Just ducking?
Ducking. He couldn't really duck because he was too big, you know? Yeah.
Keefe D has now identified his own nephew as the murderer of Tupac Shakur.
Bolstering Keefe D's claim was an informant in 1997 who told investigators that Puffy had hired the Southside Crips to kill both Suge and Tupac, and that the Crip who was jumped at the MGM was in the group that had done the hit, and that they originally were going to do it at Suge's Vegas nightclub, but then decided to do it right away instead of waiting. This was exactly the same story that Keefe D told us a decade later.
Kading believes that Keefe's nephew Orlando Baby Lane Anderson was the one who pulled the trigger, and according to his account, the initial plan was for Keefe to carry out the hit, but circumstances changed when they mistakenly approached Tupac's vehicle from the wrong side at the last moment. Another thing to note here is that earlier that night, Pac and his crew jumped Baby Lane at a Las Vegas casino, supposedly over a death row chain that Orlando stole and that Diddy was planning to use in a music video to taunt Suge with. Another interesting thing that Detective Kading uncovered is that there were multiple people who were apparently aware of Diddy's plan to take out Tupac and Suge. One of them was allegedly Biggie's then-wife, Faith Evans, and after Pac's death, Keefe claimed that Diddy and Faith called death row associate Eric Von Zip and asked, "Was that us?" By the way, Detective Kading claims that Biggie didn't play any part in any of this, despite their highly publicized beef. In fact, according to a long-standing theory, Pac and Biggie were planning to cut ties with Suge and Diddy and start their own record label. But sadly, this never came to fruition. Now, going back to Eric Von Zip, he was apparently an intermediary between Diddy, and Keffe claimed that Diddy gave $1 million to Zip, who was then supposed to pass it to Keffe and the Crips. But according to Keffe, he never received the money because Zip kept it for himself and used it to open a nightclub. But much like everyone else who could serve as a potential witness against Diddy, Zip is no longer with us to confirm this story. Zip died in 2012, reportedly due to complications from cancer, but the official cause of death was never confirmed. As for Orlando Anderson, he passed away in a supposedly unrelated gang incident 2 years after Tupac. As for Suge's involvement in all of this, after Tupac's death, it was widely believed that Suge ordered a hit on Biggie as retaliation. Suge allegedly hired a Bloods gang member, Poochie Faust, to take out Biggie. And while Biggie's mom believed LAPD was involved in the subsequent cover-up, LAPD was able to beat her lawsuit, and shortly after, Detective Kading was removed from the task force. So as you can see, there are a lot of shady details about both Tupac and Biggie's case. But the main question that's on everyone's lips is, will Diddy have to answer for any of this? Now, the only witnesses who are still alive are Keefe D and Suge Knight. And while it remains to be seen what Keffe will reveal during the trial, Suge just broke his silence on Keffe's arrest from a San Diego prison where he's serving a 28-year sentence in prison. And get this, Suge is now saying that Orlando Anderson was not the person who took out Pac.
The DA says that Keefe D was in the car with his nephew, and that presumably his nephew, according to the DA, is the one that shot Tupac, and that it was done with the full knowledge of Keefe. Do they have it right?
There was only two people in the car. And Pac not going to tell the story. I ain't going to tell the story, but I tell you this. And I never had nothing bad to say about Orlando because, number one, he wasn't the shooter. Number two, he came to my hearing and told to let me go and tell the truth. They still didn't let me go.
Suge was also asked if he would be willing to testify in Tupac's case, and he said that's not gonna happen. So I guess we now just have to wait and see if Keefe D will implicate Diddy.
If you are called to testify in this case?
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be.
Why not?
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
Why not?
Well, number one, because I'm not going to get on the stand and testify on somebody for what?
They seem to be saying that Orlando was the shooter and Keefe was in on it, that he had full knowledge of what was going down, and it was revenge for Orlando getting beaten up by Tupac and his team at the MGM after the Tyson fight. Is that correct?
No.
Then who shot Tupac?
It wasn't Anderson, so that's all I got to say about that part.
To summarize, you are saying Orlando was not the shooter, although you won't say who the shooter was. You are not saying whether Keefe was involved in any way in the shooting, and you are saying that if you're called to testify by either side, you will not comply, you will not testify. Do I have that right?
1,000%. I wouldn't go, I wouldn't testify, none of that.
By the way, I just want to point out that many industry people firmly believe in the theory that Diddy ordered to take out Tupac. So it's not just something that fans on the internet came up with from nowhere. In fact, Eminem directly called out Diddy over ordering a hit on Pac in his diss track, Kill Shot, directed at Machine Gun Kelly. On Kill Shot, M confirms his allegiance to his mentor, Dr. Dre, and contrasts him with Diddy, alluding to the theory that Diddy is responsible for Pac's death. He raps, Kill Shot, I will not fail. I'm with the doc still. But Kells, the day you put out a hit's the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out that got Pac killed. And then, more recently, industry insider Wack 100 claimed that Diddy is definitely terrified of what Keefe D might tell the police.
You been said that he should have shut the fuck up. You been said, man, Keefe D need to shut the fuck up and just go live his life, or he need to. You've been saying that.
I don't know. Diddy may not be in Vegas for a long time, fellas.
See, he dropped an album.
Right when they dropped that motherfucking interview, that's gonna go crazy. Or that motherfucking press conference of them arresting Keefe D. Man, Puffy gonna go could lose his mind.
So yeah, it seems like there are a lot of people who believe Diddy should be held accountable for Tupac's death. But do y'all think he will actually go down? I don't know, y'all. In order to convict Diddy, they would need to prove that there was a payment from Diddy, and Keefe already said he never got the money. But hey, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Either way, it looks like a lot of people are preying on Diddy's downfall. One fan said, "Diddy, hope you know time is up. You've profited off the deaths of these men, and karma with the side of Kim is coming for you. Listen to Pac toss it up. That's about to be your prison theme song." And another one wrote, "That would be such sweet justice if they finally put that sick MF-er Diddy behind bars. Finally. He is a nasty piece of work." In the meantime, let me know what y'all think about this case. Do you think Keefe could actually implicate Diddy in the trial? Leave your comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.